All right, so you got your first booking. Where do you start? So here's a checklist of different things you can work on to make sure you get everything right. Setting up the house. Make sure your house is set up for a guest to come in there. What does that mean? It means all the stuff you have, like your things in your closet, take that out, right? What I do is typically I get all my different clothings and things in my room, right? Like my personal items, and I put them in the room in the basement, right? And this is a room that's not really accessible to guests. So that's why I basically stash all my stuff, right? If you have any personal items or valuables, make sure you lock them away or you take them with you, right? Or if for some reason you can't take them with you, just make sure you take a note of them in case anything happens, you notice if they're missing, and you can contact Airbnb and get them reimbursed. In addition to that, make sure your house is clean, people. I mean, this is basic, right? Like basic stuff. But, right, sometimes things happen. Maybe you're traveling and you don't have time to come back and clean, like maybe your flight was delayed or whatever, right? So have somebody clean your house, either do it yourself or hire somebody. So me, what I typically do is usually I'll clean the house myself, or I'll have my family members help me out clean the house, right? Or you can hire somebody off of services like TaskRabbit and have them clean your house for you, right? So there are different ways to clean the house, but make sure your house is clean. That means you have things like you change the sheets, you have paper towels, clean the kitchen, scrub the bathroom, make sure everything's sparkling. Also make sure you make a second copy and have a key for guests that's not the actual copy, right? Never give your original house key to the guest, always make a second copy. So with me, I actually make 2 copies for guests, right? Because I have a big house, and usually people who are staying here, I may be hosting about 8 people, sometimes even up to 12 people are staying in my house, right? So I have copies for guests to use, but I never give them the original key because there are some horror stories of guests basically stealing somebody's house and refusing to leave, and the person has no key, right? So anybody out there who watches the show Silicon Valley knows there was a joke about Airbnb on there where the guy, Jared, was basically kicked out of his house because the guy was staying in his house, and based on the laws in San Francisco at the time of when it was being filmed, to the point that if somebody stays in your house more than 30 days, they can technically claim your house legally, right? So they would check your laws and make sure that's something that can be violated, right? For me, I know my place in terms of restrictions. I have a minimum booking of 3 nights, and maximum booking, I don't really have a maximum booking per se, but I wouldn't allow anybody to stay in my house for more than 30 days, just in case, right? But when I was renting out my rooms, just individual rooms, I had somebody stay in one room for 45 days one time. He was somebody in the Air Force. He had come here for a project, and it was kind of like a short-term roommate.